If you want to skip this long discussion I'm about to share with the many changes happening in my life very quickly, but only want to know how these changes are going to impact this channel, please skip to the timestamp on the screen or the timestamp in the description. Thank you. All right, so I got the job. A lot of things have been happening. We're going to go through them really quickly. But before we do that, I want to go through all of the sections of this video so no one's confused, no one's lost or anything. So leading up to the job, that's going to be just the timeline of events that it took to get where I'm at. And then what's the priority? This is going to be more in line with needs, not wants. And again, if that doesn't make sense, we'll get into it. And then what's going to change in regards to the channel, what's going to happen with just the general schedule I have for uploading content and that sort of thing. So let's start up with leading up to the job. So as you guys know, if you've watched my supercuts in the past, you know that I've been putting in applications for jobs. I have recently graduated college. This is what I have been doing for quite a while. I think I've been applying for 2-3 weeks or so at this point. Out of those 70 applications, only one of them was responding to me. I was getting discouraged. I was panicking a little bit. I mean, the one was good, but when you only have 1 out of 70, that's still like a little discouraging. So on the timetable, Wednesday morning, January 22nd, about 8:30 in the morning, I'm going through, you see those job postings, whether it be on Indeed, Google, LinkedIn, all those job boards out there. I see this position. I'm not going to tell you guys what position that ended up leading to being the job out of my privacy and the company's privacy, but I will tell you that it is in line with what I went to school for, which was business administration. I know that's vague, but it's the best thing I can do to protect myself. So January 22nd, I see this job posting. It doesn't have the pay listed. It doesn't have even the job description itself almost seemed a little too textbook, like it was ripped out of a textbook. Didn't really know what was going on with it. It almost seemed like a scam, kind of. And I know that companies don't list income to see what kind of candidates they can get, and then they adjust income from there. So I looked at this job posting and I'm like, I don't really want to do it. But then something in my head was like, you know what, just do it. Just apply. It takes like 10 minutes. So I did. And then I kept on my tasks, my list. So I even had a spreadsheet for how many jobs I was applying for. And I think the job application number it was like 28 or something at the time for that one I applied for. So 30 minutes later, I get a call from the company, very quick response time, which was very odd for me. I was wondering why they're responding so quickly, given that the job was kind of vague and the pay wasn't listed, and it just seemed odd. So they called me January 22nd for an interview for Friday with recruiter, an HR recruiter for the company. So I accepted. It was a virtual one. And this job, mind you, was in a different city, and I'll get to that later. So Friday, January 24th, I had my first interview, which it was interesting, virtual. I mean, it's the casual, like, here's the job, this is what's expected, what do you bring to the table, look at your background, your resume. It's pretty standard stuff. If you've done interviews before, then you know what I'm talking about. At the end of the interview, I ask, when am I going to hear a response, knowing me that I don't like to be left in the dark. And they agreed. The company themselves don't like to be left in the dark, and they don't like to beat around the bush with communication. So they told me that I would hear something by the following Friday. So that would be, let me see. I'm pulling my calendar. That'd be the 31st if I even made it to another interview round. There's usually 2 or 3 rounds of interviews. So I didn't think anything of it. I was, willing to be patient for the following Friday. Monday evening, so that would be, let me think, 25th, 26th. January 27th is when I got a call from the recruiter, the same guy I interviewed with, and he wanted to know when I could make the trip to the city for an in-person interview. Because, again, I lived quite a while away. I think I lived like an hour and a half away from where the interview was. Naturally, I threw out some dates, and because you guys know that I wasn't working at the time, because my retail thing fell short, I said I'm available any time of day to go and do this interview in a different city. So, and he just had to coordinate with the second person who was going to be interviewing me, which was the manager. At the end of Monday, we didn't have a scheduled interview time. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll call back. And it was the end of the day. It was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So Monday goes by, we get to the end of Tuesday, so that would be the 28th of January. It's 3:30 or so. I give the recruiter a call to ask, and I felt kind of bad because it sounded like he was in the middle of an interview. So I call him. I felt bad about calling him because he was so busy, and he just tells me, "Oh, I sent you an interview or I sent you an email with the next steps. Read it. It's going to be for Wednesday, January 29th at 10 a.m." So I'm like, "Okay, sweet. This is good. This is promising." Moving a little quick, going from not expecting a second interview till Friday, January 31st to see if I even qualify for it, to being it bumped up 2 days prior. So the second interview, I wake up early. I have to travel a decent amount of time. It's not like moving across the country kind of distance. It's just like a different city within the state I live. And I get there early, me being proactive as I am. I go there, I just sit in my car for probably 30 minutes because it was a highly restricted area. I'm not going to say what industry or anything about the job for out of my protection, but it was a high security clearance job. I needed an emailed QR code just to get in the door and to be on the books for an appointment. Then I meet my manager. They were nice, standard stuff. It went really well, really well. And if you've done enough interviews, you can just read the room, read the body language, and it was good. I mean, I didn't see anything negative from it. I thought legitimately it was good. They asked some interesting questions, like that caught me off guard. Like, do you have multiple offers from other companies, or almost asking me like, where's your mindset in applying? And I don't remember what I told them, but my mindset at the time was it's going to be whatever job picks me up first. And at the moment, they were the only ones that responded. So I was like, that's kind of a clear indication. If they're the only ones that I'm getting answers from, this is a good sign. So end of second interview, I ask, when should I expect, an answer if I make it to the next round? And I believe I could be wrong. I think the manager told me it would be the following Monday. So that would have been February 3rd, I think. I was expecting, February 3rd to be my interview, the next round, I guess, if there even was a third interview. I didn't know if there would or wouldn't be. So I wake up Friday and I do my thing. I work out, I work on videos. I'm not working I wasn't working at the time. And I was going about my business and I couldn't remember, Thursday, excuse me. This is Thursday, January 30th. I wake up, do my normal routine, go to the gym, work on videos, editing, buying time or passing the time however I can. And I get to Thursday, I don't remember what time of day it was, get another call from the recruiter saying that, hey, our director of the department wants to speak with you. So that implied on the third interview. And I'm like, great, when? And I'm like, when do I have to travel back to the city where the job is? And they said, no, we're not going to torture you again. We're just going to do a virtual one. So they set it for Friday, 10 a.m., which was, again, another quick, Friday the 31st. It was quick. So we go jump into Friday. I have my meeting at 10 a.m. virtually. It was only 15 minutes. And when you get high up enough in the corporate ladder with people you're dealing with, you know full well that people who are up that high don't want to waste their time. So it looked promising. I even think the director at the time told me, well, you're the only candidate that's made it this far. I'm kind of the final step of approval. So that it was highly implied that I was in the running for the final, for the position, but I didn't get a definitive yes or no, and you usually don't find out that information until they send the offer letter. So end of Friday, I get the final interview and it was good. I enjoyed the weekend, Friday the 31st. The weekend was good. I was kind of a little bit nervous just because I even though I was heavily implied to be the final and only candidate, I was in that mindset of this job is not guaranteed. And I think no matter how qualified you are for a position, no matter how much experience or education you have or whatever, however good you look on paper, that should not make you assume you have the job. So having not confidence isn't the thing, because for me, I was confident in my abilities, at least my education, because again, I had no experience fresh out of college. Having that mindset of being humble, I wasn't expecting anything. I legitimately thought throughout the whole process that they had someone else in the backup. I did not think that I was going to get the position. I genuinely didn't. I mean, the interviews were a clear indicator, but I mentally thought of hey, this is, keep applying for other jobs while this is happening. So weekend was okay. I was just thinking about it. Then Monday, I get the official offer letter. So it was not going to tell you the financial, telling you nothing about the job for my protection. It's a good wage for no experience. And with a bachelor's degree in business, it's adequate. It's good considering where the city was located. It's located in a bigger metropolitan city. So as soon as I sign the letter, I contact the manager that did the second interview because they are the boss of the position that I was applying for. So they tell me that, they really liked my interviews. Obviously, we got along great, went off swimmingly, and they told me about a start date was not in stone yet. It was still up in the air. They wouldn't give me a clear answer, but I signed the offer letter. Like, once the job offer is signed, it's basically official, and there's not really anything they can do going forward. So the following day, I make another trip back out to the city where it is from where I live, about an hour, 15, hour 30 drive. And I start looking for apartments. And I used to work in the apartment industry, so I know what to look for, what tips and tricks they try to throw at you. And it was really good because there was one apartment complex that really tried to drag me along and tried to be a little deceptive. But given that I had already worked in the industry, I kind of indicated that, and it was fine. And then I think I only viewed 2 or 3 places. I didn't spend a lot of time looking because the area the job is in the city, it's newly renovated, or they're building newly fast developing side of town. It's good. So Wednesday, I get an email and a call from my future boss, or the future boss, and they told me, they got to do the verification process, the background check on education, work history, credit history, references, criminal. They asked for everything. So if you're out there and you're in a position where you're looking for a job, make sure you have good references, because man, oh man, they check your references. It's extremely important. Now, does that mean it's contingent on getting a job offer? I don't know. So I submitted, my social security number, all my information that I could provide. And remember, February 5th, I had just graduated on February 1st. So I hadn't even been officially, I haven't even gotten my diploma, haven't gotten my official transcripts by that point, et cetera, et cetera. So I fill out all that information, and then the end of Wednesday, everything was going good. Or excuse me, I started all the verification stuff on Mondays when they offered me the letter. Wednesday is when we started to have a problem. So I roll into Wednesday. They were hiring a third-party company to do the background check, which most companies do for high-end positions like the one I applied for. And the third-party company said, "Hey, we need references." And I had put references down when I filled out the paperwork electronically. And apparently, one of my references I had put at a previous workplace, the boss no longer worked there. Surprise, surprise. So I had to hunt down references, and then I gave this person, the third party company, the representative, and then they emailed me back saying, "Hey, none of your references are answering. We need more references that'll pick up the phone," because I only had their phone number. I didn't get their email, which, if you're going to use someone as a reference, make sure you get their phone number and email. I learned that the hard way. So when I told this person, because I was emailing them directly to the third-party company, I'm like, "Hey, these are all the references I have. What's the worst-case scenario of not having adequate references?" And the person told me, "The company you're applying for has a requirement of 3 professional references, and they wouldn't take personal, because I have so many personal references that could vouch for me that I know I'd have in my back pocket easily." And, I was panicking. By this point, I was panicking, but I was also confused why the offer letter was given to me before all this was done. I mean, I'm not sure what chronological events are supposed to take place, at least with the interview process and securing a job. So I was going nuts. And then Wednesday evening, I started looking for other jobs just because I was panicking. And Wednesday, I was already starting the groundwork for apartments. Like, one of the apartment complexes, which ended up being the one that I took, I had already put down the leasing fee and application fee. So I was already in the red well, not in the red, but spent $300 already, give or take. Administrative fees and application fees are not cheap. So I was like, I just put down money on an apartment complex in a city I don't even live, and the job may be at risk of losing. What the heck do I do? So I start applying. Then at the end of Wednesday, I call my manager because I'm like, if there's anybody who's going to make this decision based on what comes back and what doesn't, they are going to be the ones that make the decision. So I call them and I ask, what's going to happen about my references, and it was no sweat. This person is fully experienced in the industry. Eventually, I'll be working tomorrow, this Sunday, for Monday. My first day. Monday is my first day. So they're like, you know what? If your references are only the thing that you are concerned about, then you're fine. If everything else passes, you're fine, which was great. So sigh of relief. Which was good because Thursday was when I was at risk of losing the position. That's when I called, February 7th. I signed my lease at my new apartment complex. And everything from there just kind of snowballed really, really quickly. And I'm going to try and remember each step as we go. So February 7th, I signed my lease. I set up the electric. If you know anything about securing an apartment, it's electric, it's internet, it's water, it's all these things. It's not as simple as just signing 10 pages of a lease and you're done. It's usually not how it works. So, there was a lot to do. I got to the new city at like 11 to set all that up. It went smoothly, about as quick as it probably could have. Also, something I didn't know, which who would fault me for knowing this, they do credit checks on your utility bills too. So if you have bad credit, it even affects your, you have to sometimes put down a deposit for an electric bill or electric company. So you can pay a deposit. You can pay a deposit for, depending on credit, based on for securing an apartment and a utility company. Because I asked the utility company representative, I was like, you got to pay a deposit if your credit's bad. She's like, yeah, everything in the world requires a credit check and just a full background because people found it, I guess, easier to commit fraud. So therefore, that's why they do all these checks. It was good. We set it up. It probably took like a 10-minute call. Maybe it was pretty straightforward, which was good. And then yesterday, we started moving stuff. Well, my parents helped out. Friday the 7th, when I got my keys, I started, I took 2 trips. And if you know anything about my living situation, as I came from a student apartment complex, which was fully furnished. So I had no furniture. So the only thing I had really were like pots, pans, utensils, my computer, my gaming stuff, and books. That's basically all I had. So with that in mind, I had to really start from scratch, and there was a lot to do. And I'm still, as I'm recording this now, which we'll put in the video eventually later, is I don't have a lot of furniture. There's not a lot of things I can do at this moment in time. And I'll get to that in a minute. So Saturday, my parents helped me move the rest of my stuff. It's pretty great. It's not super bad. It's pretty good. And then Monday I start the job. So a lot of quick time frames. So let me look at my calendar really quick because I want to know how long did that actually take from the time I applied. So let's see, January 22nd. So that's 29th, that's a week. Wow. I basically got a job and secured an apartment in 16 days. Yeah, so let's see, be 14, 15. Yeah, 16 days. I applied for a job, had 3 interviews, signed a job offer, conducted a background check, authorized all that information, secured an apartment, did a background check on all that information as well, and moved in between a city that's quite a distance away, all in 2 weeks, about a little over 2 weeks. So that's why I'm updating this discussion. And if it sounds echoey in here, it's because I don't have anything. Show a picture on the screen of just what I came into. I came into nothing. I have nothing. That's why it's echoing in here, and that's why there's not a lot of stuff, in this room to begin with, or just my whole apartment. About the apartment, it's a brand new building. I was very lucky when I found it at the price that I found it, because if you know anything about the real estate business, is typically things that are brand new or close to it, you're paying top dollar for it, and I'm grateful that I didn't. It's very good. It's in a very secure area, at least the property is. It's a gated community, so I don't have to worry about yahoos anymore. And it's crazy. My internet valet trash, and I think some other special community amenities are added on for like an additional $100. So it's great. I don't have to deal with internet companies. I don't have to deal with garbage, even though I was fully content taking the garbage out myself because the dumpster's right there. I mean, my building's right next to it, but it's one of those where you pay this extra fee. It's required of all residents on the property. You might as well use it, right? So, and it doesn't impact me financially all that much. Now we move into the second segment of this video. What's the priority? Because I'm coming into a new place with no furniture, still paying double rent because my other place for the student apartment complex I was living at, I still pay rent on that until July. The good news, however, is I filed my taxes, and my tax return, because I claimed school or college as a deductible, I was treated nicer on taxes than I have done in previous years. So the money I'm getting back, which should be about a week or two, should cover that as well. So what's the priority? Low budget. I was also unemployed for 4 months. 5 if you don't count the little retail job I had. This is that argument, needs versus wants. I want to buy a bunch of games and I want to produce a bunch of content, but the needs, I need a bed, I need a dresser, I need bar stools, I need a couch, I need a entertainment center or a TV like furniture stand or whatever. And then if you really want to go crazy, I need curtain rods, I need curtains, there's a bunch of things that I need that, you wouldn't think about unless you were moving. So that's also important. And because, again, my student apartment complex is furnished, didn't take any of it with me because it's not mine. And like I said, I'm still paying my old lease as well as my new one. Not bad. I got a good rent for, again, my brand new place. And of course, the priority right now, because I was spending money on college out of pocket, didn't use FAFSA or parental aid, I already blew through a lot of my savings, and I already, by being unemployed that long while also paying for school at the same time, I blew quite a bit of money. I'm not in the hole. I'm still probably reasonably comfortable by today's standards, so that isn't the concern there. And then, of course, when it comes to needing furniture, I'm not settling on cheap or low quality furniture. For example, when I was a kid, we often bought used, or we bought things that were, like, for example, couches. Everyone likes leather couches, quality couches, right? When I was a kid, we always had cloth. Usually, it's just one of those things you do. If you ever grew up in a low income family, those tips and tricks. Like, you used to eat ramen all the time, mac and cheese. For us, we used to eat mac and cheese and mixed with hot dogs, and it was cool. But these were the things that we had to do as a kid. So now that I'm on the other end of being self sufficient on my own, independent, I want to slowly buy more durable, more quality furniture. And because of that, I may not start buying expensive things. Well, obviously, once I get a few checks in, that's the most important thing. And again, I will tell you at the job, it is salary, so that's good. Pros and cons of each. But I got to get a few checks in, which usually, I'm not going to tell you all my pay period, but it's going to be, could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be a month. You got to wait until the check actually drops, because a lot of people misunderstand that once you're starting working, you can start blowing money before you even get it. No, that's not true. You have to wait till you actually have the money in hand before you can make those decisions. So I'm going to take my time with it. I'm going to get a quality bed, like mattress, because those run about $1,000 starting, I think. And then, box spring, bed frame, all that stuff. That's the most important things. TV stand. The theme of my apartment complex is going to be studio themed. I mean, I'm in a bedroom right now with basically nothing in it. It's carpeted. At least my bedroom is. That's why I'm recording in here. If it does sound echoey, I apologize. I can't really control that right now. Definitely thinking about, once I fill it up with furniture and get more things in here, it'll be better, at least in that regard. So that's definitely good for that. The most important thing we all need to talk about is the Nintendo Switch 2. I have the funds to pre-order it. Likely it'll be eligible. It'll be available for pre-order April 2nd. I don't see why it wouldn't, especially when Nintendo is rumored to have a release date. Likely targeted release date of June 2025, give or take, unless the leaks are wrong. I mean, the leaks were right about the makeup and the physical appearance. So what makes you think that's wrong? I mean, they are still rumors, so you do have to take it with a grain of salt, but they've been pretty credible so far. I'm going to finish out recording stuff on my Switch, plus older generations of consoles. That's one of the benefits of not having a lot of videos and supercuts on my channel, is that I can record almost anything Nintendo related. So that's definitely a good thing. Once the Switch 2 arrives, I'm going to pre-order it. Going to get it secured here in the new city I live in. A lot of new stuff is going to be coming. Still expect 2 weeks to 4 weeks for supercuts. I know that a lot of people are not happy with that schedule release time. I noticed that a lot of people subscribe, but then after like a week they unsubscribe, which I mean, that subscribers are going to do that. That's just normal. And I've been getting a lot of traction, so I can't really complain, especially after the Switch 2 reveal reaction. Go watch it if you haven't. I work a full-time job now, especially because I'm salary. You can work 8 hours, you can work 12 hours, you do whatever the company tells you to work. And the pay is the exact same no matter what, which is great, depending on the circumstances, if they're going to overwork me or underwork me. So we'll see how that goes. I won't know that stuff until I actually start tomorrow, being Monday the 10th of February. All right, and then in between game releases, once the Switch 2 actually comes, between their big titles, because likely Mario Kart will release with it, Mario Kart 9 or whatever the heck it's going to get called, and their releases, I will record older content like you guys saw me do with Sonic Colors. I did with Mario Party 5, I think in August or September, I released that supercut. So that's definitely what my in between releases, you can expect older content. And that's not just a formula I came up with. That's kind of like what people have been doing. Like if there's not really new stuff coming out like this year so far, people move to older games and things like that. So I'm not asking for financial help of any kind. I mean, I made it through college 5 years, paying it off on my own, one class at a time. So I think I have a good credibility with my track record. But if you would love to show your support, please subscribe to this channel, and if you like what you've seen so far, go watch my other videos. Granted, it's not a lot, but each video and each supercut that I upload, usually a lot more editing. And if you don't like the upload schedule of this channel, I have a smaller channel called SNGL Plus. If you want to go see weekly uploads at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays, those are scheduled uploads. So I think I just started Mario & Luigi Brothership, and I recorded that at the end of November. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it was this, again, I'm not in college anymore. I have time for this now. Not infinite amount of time, and certainly not able to make this a full-time gig, but I definitely can come home like I am now, recording things like that. I would have started recording yesterday. From Friday to Saturday night, I only got 3 hours of sleep, and Saturday to today, the sleeping through the night, that's I got 8 hours of sleep. It was the first, I needed it. Priorities. This is the most important thing. Once I get fully established in here, we'll be able to do all of those things, it's going to be good. Don't worry about it. So what's going to change? So I'm going to spoil it all for a second, because likely this is going to be uploaded Sunday night or Monday, sometime on Monday, February 10th. The next supercut is going to be Super Mario World. I mean, I gotta tell you, my channel is named after the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, so more than likely, it's in the name. I gotta do all the classics. We're gonna get there. And I know everyone's Donkey Konged out with Returns and just all of the supercuts I did with Donkey Kong in the beginning. So Super Mario World is coming up next. That's the next LP that's going up on the channel. That'll probably be uploaded the Friday of the week of the February 9th. So what date would that be? Let me look at my calendar. It's not done. I'm not done editing it, hence why I'm not uploading it. I didn't upload it February 7th, and I moved. It'll probably be uploaded on Valentine's Day, February 14th, which I think will be really cool, because why not? Video for Valentine's Day. And then after Super Mario World, this is where I'm going to need you guys to pay attention just for a little bit. My next Let's Play is going to be much longer. It's not a new game. It's actually an HD remake. It's not Donkey Kong Country Returns. HD again. It's not that. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a game I haven't played in a while, but I've never recorded for the channel. It's going to be much longer. I would expect that video to be sometime in March. I would suspect probably more towards the end of March, as that's going to take a lot of time to record, edit, especially with me adapting to my new job, just getting used to the city. It's just going to take time, and this is something that it's natural. I'm not trying to I don't want to upload content. Believe me, I want to. Trust me, I wanted to do it during college, but that didn't happen as fast as I wanted to. So if you want to see weekly uploads, like I said again, go check out SNGL Plus for more consistent content. Those are uploaded weekly at 4 p.m. and then 2 to 4 weeks is the time frame I gave myself to edit, record, all that, to upload those supercuts every 2 to 4 weeks. If an LP is longer, I will let you guys know in a community post on social media. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff, and even Facebook. I even got a Facebook. I haven't done TikTok yet, and I haven't done Snapchat yet. More than likely, once I do YouTube Shorts, we'll definitely get to that. But thank you guys so much for the support thus far. We're at 21 subscribers, I think, assuming it doesn't go down from here, because what happens is I go up 3, then lose 2, go up 4, then lose 2. It's just interesting how it goes. And again, if you are unsubscribing because you're dissatisfied with like my schedule, which is the biggest weakness I have currently, or my editing, let me know down in the comments, and just any criticisms that are genuine, not just like, oh, I hate you. I'll definitely take the criticism from there. And again, thank you guys so much for sticking with me so far. I've done a lot since that 3 months, the next 3 months update I did, which was my first one ever, which is why I do these, because they're super, super important. But what's likely going to happen from here on out with updates and discussion? There shouldn't really be any channel updates or discussions that I can see. The only one that I might do is one for my year anniversary, more of a just, here's a performance review, here's some highlights of the year. That's what I would expect. Again, my channel anniversary is like March 10th, but the first video I uploaded was on April 5th, so that's kind of how I'm going to go from there. But again, make sure to leave a like, comment down below on what you're most excited for from the channel, whether it's Switch 2 content, whether it's a specific game on the Switch 2 or older consoles, or you just want to comment down below a game you want me to play. I have one game I got to play, like I've been saying it at the end of every supercut or at the end of all my LPs on SNGL+. I got a list going. I keep a list on a Word document by who recommended it. So if you want to get a shout out as well, definitely suggest a game for me to play, and subscribe for more, as I'm going to be throwing more content as fast as I can get it to you guys. I will be transparent. I will update you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.